Welcome to Three Crosses Farrier Company. I'm Caleb, and today we're working on Tank. This is the second part. In the first video, we found an abscess in his heel, dug it out, drained it, and then put this boot on there to protect it and keep all the foreign particulates out of that abscess track. And in this video, we're going to take the boot off, look at the abscess, see how it looks, put a shoe on it. Now, in the last video, I had several people comment on the fact that I wasn't using my Hoof USA hoof stand, and were wondering why. Tank has some pretty extreme arthritis in his hocks, and so it's a lot easier on him to hold the foot low. So if I hold it low like this and then only lift it up when I absolutely have to, he stands way better, he's way more comfortable, and it's just better for him all the way around. A little harder on me, but it's better for him. So I'm gonna take that heel, clean the foot up a little bit. As you'll remember in the last video, I had already trimmed him a little bit there, so there's not a lot for me to do as far as trimming goes today. You can also see that abscess sitting right there in the heel on the medial side. Tank stays shod pretty much year round. He has fairly sensitive hooves, and his hooves tend to fall apart without shoes. So he's actually quarter clipped. As you can see right there, you can actually see the old burns from when we burned the quarter clips in the first time. And the quarter clips have made such a difference for him. I shod him for a long time with no clips and kind of tended to lose shoes. They didn't stay on very good. His hoof walls were kind of falling apart. Since I started using clips, it's really made a difference for his hoof. What I'm doing here is getting rid of all the distortion, gathering the foot up. The mark that I made on the bottom, where I ran my rasp around the outside of the hoof, I'm rasping to that mark. Again, I did some trimming on him the last time, so not super bad. And there you can see that abscess. That was a long way up in there. I'm going to measure the hoof here and see what I need for my shoe. In a lot of my videos, I actually haven't shown this part of it. There is so much that goes into shaping shoes that I wasn't even aware of. I was a cold shoer, cold banger as they say. For years, all I did was I used the turning cams, which are the two knobs on the end of that anvil almost exclusively. I never used the horn, and I can't believe I did it that way for years. It is so much easier to shape a shoe hot. Now what I'm doing here, I'm narrowing it up a little bit. I want to match that measurement that I took on the hoof. And you can see the clips right there. You can see that I'm running out of heat. My anvil wasn't hot, and it really sucks the heat out of your shoes. Set it up, measure it. Okay, I'm still a little bit wide, just a little bit tick, see if it comes in. Now you'll notice, and I want you to note that, I brought that heel in, and you're gonna see something here in just a second. Just remember that I moved that heel in on the medial side. You hold your hammer against the shoe to stop your shaking. It really helps you see level a little bit better if you hold your hammer up against it like that. It holds the shoe steady. That was actually a trick I learned at the AFA convention this year. What I'm doing right there is I'm setting my quarter clips. The idea is as I angle those quarter clips to the same angle as the hoof wall. This hammer is another thing that I got at the AFA convention. It's a Yukon Forge hammer, and compared to my old Mustad hammer, it's not even comparable. That hammer's amazing. So you remember I said to note that I had pulled that medial heel in? If you look right here real close, my medial heel is too tight. So when I pulled that heel in, it wasn't right. So I actually had to go back to the anvil at this point and pull that heel out a little bit. Burning the shoe on in this particular case also helps set those quarter clips into the hoof wall. You can do it without heat, but it's a lot harder. To answer the questions that I'm sure we're going to have in this video, no, this isn't hurting him. If this was hurting him, if anything that I was doing on him at this point was hurting him throughout the whole shoeing process, if anything hurt him, he would react. He's not just going to stand there and let me do my thing if I'm actively hurting him. Now you will notice as I start to drive these nails in that the percussion of the hammer is causing him discomfort. This is due primarily to the fact that he has arthritis in that higher hock, and horses with arthritis in their hocks are especially sensitive to percussion on their hoof. But this isn't, if I was to really cause him pain, there's no way he would stand here. This is discomfort mostly. Now you'll notice I started to drive it in the third nail hole back, and then I moved the nail forward. And the reason that you do this is by driving that front nail hole first, it helps push the shoe into those quarter clips. Now the nails are straight on one side and have a bevel. They kind of curve a little bit on the inside, and this helps them pop out. They're not just a straight nail. They actually move. They kind of bend as they come out the hoof wall. And as you can see, he's pulling on me pretty hard. But again, we don't get upset about this because he can't help it. And you'll notice now that I'm using my hoof stand, and you'll also notice that I have it set on the lowest, as low as it'll go for him. You also see my dog in the background. He thought I was abusing him on this particular day because it was really cold. But he doesn't like to stay in the truck. He'd rather be on the trailer, so. So the fit there looks pretty good. I could critique it a little bit. I'm gonna nip those nails off.
Yeah, your hands are probably warmer than mine are.
Well, working's better, man.
Yeah.
Standing around holding a horse is the hardest job. I'd rather work underneath him than stand around and hold a horse.
Would it be a good idea to put that fake boot on just to keep it clean? Or you think just in the dry barn it'll be alright like that?
What I would do, what we will most likely do, is, I mean, I could fill it with epoxy, but I'd like it to be open a little wider.
So one of the hardest things about this time of year with an abscess like this is we do not want this foot to get a bunch of gunk up inside and then cause a worse infection. So keeping the foot clean is important. And what he was asking is whether we should put the easy boot, which is, it's kind of like a plastic boot, on him so that it would stay clean. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna wrap it again just to keep it clean a little longer. You'll notice I did 5 nails instead of 6. I probably could have done 4. These clips are worth about 2 nails. So they really help hold a shoe on. The substance I'm using here is betadine.
I'd rather err on the side of. This will just keep it clean.
Yeah.
Again, I can be a little over the top. I tend to err on the side of caution. I really don't want this to be a problem, so I'd rather be a little too overprotective or overdo it a little bit than not do enough.
It's not so important about the bottom because he's going to wear that off.
Yeah.
We just want to keep
vet wrap is so handy.
That'll hold that right in there. For anyone out there wondering, Gorilla Tape works better.
Yeah.
This stuff's pretty.
That should about do it for today. As I said in the video here, Gorilla Tape works so much better for this. It stays on better. There's going to be a third part to this video where we wrap it up and you'll get to see him move. I'll put a little epoxy in that big old nasty crack. Until next time,